Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead and start the meeting then. Welcome, everyone. This is the Tucson-Pima County Historical Commission Plans Review Subcommittee meeting of Thursday, February 29th, 2024. Call to order at 1 p.m. And I'll go ahead and do roll call. Terry Majewski is here. Andrew Christopher.
Here.
Savannah McDonald.
Here.
Jan Mulder.
Here.
Ricky Riojas.
Here.
Joel Ireland.
Here.
Great, thank you. We have quorum, we have a full house. And one thing, we won't be hearing item 4A today, correct, Jody?
Correct. He's going to be rescheduled to another meeting.
Okay, and Joel, you have to recuse for 3C. So remind me again if I forget, and I'll make a note here.
Okay, will do.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead then with item 2, which is approval of the legal action report / minutes for the meeting of February 8th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve as submitted?
This is Ricky. I motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, that was Jan, correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. No discussion? Okay, I'll go ahead and call roll. Terry votes aye. Andrew?
Abstain, I think, since I wasn't here, or I'm not sure if it matters.
Well, if you've read them, I mean, there's no, because really an abstention is a no.
Okay, I vote aye then.
Okay, thank you. Savannah?
Aye.
Jan?
Aye.
Ricky?
Aye.
Joel?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Passes unanimously 6-0. We'll move on to item 3, which is historic preservation zone review cases. We review these UDC section 5.8/TSM 9-02.0.0 / historic district design guidelines and revised Secretary of the Interior standards and guidelines. Our first case is 3A. SD 0124-00007 at 1 East Toole. This is for construction of an ADA ramp, west side staircase, replacement of basement windows, and modification of existing railing. It's a full review in the Warehouse National Register Historic District. This is the contributing resource in the Rio Nuevo area review and under the rehabilitation standards. Jody, would you get back on this, please?
I'm going to actually pass this over to Maria Gayoso to give you background.
Okay.
Maria?
Can people hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Majewski, members of the PRS. This property is located in the Rio Nuevo area. The existing structure is contributing to the Warehouse National Register Historic District. The applicant is requesting to provide for ADA access from the south side of the structure, and also to provide a fire exit from the west side in order to meet building code. They are proposing to use this building for events, and the case was reviewed by the PRS a week ago, and
The DRB.
I'm sorry, the DRB, and the DRB wanted to requested the applicant. They continued the meeting and requested the applicant to return to the DRB with a shade study. They're trying to explore the possibilities of providing shades on the pedestrian pathways inside the property as required by the Rio Nuevo area. That's something the applicant right now is exploring. And they also requested the applicant to return with existing or proposed outdoor lighting in front of the building. And they also requested the applicant to return to the DRB with more detailed information on the materials and the colors of the proposed railings and the ramp and the staircase, and to better show in the drawings how those the new railing and the new ramp is actually interacting with the existing historic railing on the site. So the DRB did continue this case, and the DRB also requested to have the PRS recommendation for this case.
Okay, thank you. So who are the applicants presenting for this case?
Just has a
It's Vince Catalano.
Okay.
It's Vince Catalano with BBC Design. I'm the architect that's working on the project.
Okay, do you have others with you today?
Chris Layton with Peach Properties and Ron Schwabe with Peach Properties should be connected by phone. They're the landlords who I'm hired by to work on this project.
Okay, Jody and Michael, are they on? I don't see any phone numbers.
Yeah, I don't think they're connected, Vince.
Okay.
Questions?
Okay, so it's just you. Okay, so
Sorry,
It's me as
Jay.
well. Sorry, I'm
Jan
not sure
had
if you
some
can.
questions.
I just had a couple process questions since you're waiting for the rest of the applicant team. One was whether, I know we had this question before, whether this is a violation. I know it has a stop work order on it. I know they had a wooden ramp in place that's now gone. So, and then my last process question is if DRB is asking for this much stuff, which seems substantive, we're gonna wanna see it again. If it's a shade, if it's whatever else
Lights
is,
and all the
we're gonna,
designs.
and railing, we're gonna wanna see it again, so is there a reason for us to review it now?
Yes, because you may not want to see the same things that DRB is looking at.
Well,
Shade study is really not in your
oh, I
purview.
thought you said shade structure.
No, shade study.
Okay,
One
but
of the,
railings and whatever the lighting, those could be important.
those could be important, that's up to you. I would let Vince do
Okay.
the presentation. And he can discuss, what they were also talking about and
you don't
maybe
know
their
if it's a
suggestions.
violation.
And my apologies, yes, this is a violation. They did put up the ramp, and they got caught. And so it was a wood ramp, it wasn't code, and they are coming back through to rectify that issue. My apologies, I should have put that on the agenda. And then Terry, Vince, I've made you the co-host, so you should be able to share your screen. Sorry, did you?
My only question is, are we reviewing the same drawings that DRB reviewed?
Yes.
Is that the revised plan looks, when I try to open the initial presentation one, it tells me to make queries.
Oh, yeah, good one. That happens with the system, like you can only see the latest. That happens
Yeah,
with
invalid
different-
queries.
Savannah's looking at it.
Yeah.
And they just wanted our opinion on this before they see it again.
Typically.
Can I share with, can I speak on behalf?
So, hold on, Vince. So typically it goes to PRS first and then it goes to DRB, but because of the flub, DRB was already scheduled, so they just kept it on the DRB. They like to have the PRS opinion because then historic is your purview.
Yeah.
And so without the historic purview, they're kind of just making up their stuff.
Okay,
So we
That's why-
still could give some feedback and then say we wanna see the railings again or something.
Or you could give some feedback and say, we're okay with what they're suggesting.
Okay,
You know, it's,
Yeah.
I would let Vince do his
Okay.
presentation and then decide, you know, if you wanna continue it or if you wanted to move forward. And they always ask for a shade study, that's,
right. No, I just misheard, I thought you said shade structure.
okay. And Vince, did you hear me? You can share your screen, so if you wanna do your.
So you see the screen of the building?
Yes,
Can everyone see? Okay.
I can.
So, I'm Vince Catalano, I'm the architect for the project. This building is, One East Tool. It's a historic building built in 1923, a two-bay warehouse built in a Spanish eclectic style with brick. And at the base, they have stucco. It has steel casement windows and has a cornice capped with Spanish tile. The building was occupied by Baffert and Leon wholesale grocers until the 1950s. The owner had leased this building to a successful company that does event venues, and they started doing event venues without the proper certificate of occupancy because it wasn't an assembly use. So that's why the building was red tagged, because they were actually having activities inside the building. It wasn't sprinklered. They actually came back and have sprinklered the building, put a fire alarm. But the bigger issues that we're dealing with now, or the issues that we're trying to deal with that impact the appearance of the building from the outside, is that the building at this time doesn't have any accessibility for the handicapped, and it doesn't have proper exiting to meet an assembly requirement. So I'm going to go to the presentation on the description. So basically, we're installing and recommending the installation of a handicapped ramp in the front. It's going to be built out of steel. It'll match the steel that's in the windows. And we had that originally proposed going with the cable system, which is what the Rio Nuevo had a discussion on. So the ramp is needed to meet handicap requirements and exiting. So that was item number one, add an accessible ramp to the existing historic building. At this time, the building is not accessible. Two, the building has had a staircase on the west side of the building, but has been destroyed over the years. This project is to add a metal staircase as a required second exit from the building. Three, the building code requires that the existing basement windows along the west of the building be fire rated for an exit corridor. I'll show you the pictures in a second, but because the walkway along the west side of the building is only 7 feet wide, the windows at that base have to be fire rated to protect the people walking along on the exit way. And then for the south operable casements need to be replaced. At that time we started the process, it was just being tempered, but I just got the report back from the city yesterday, and they're requiring that those windows also be fire rated. So they're going to be fire rated windows in the steel frame in the same locations as the windows along the basement storefront, but we're going to be replacing with fire rated assemble in a steel frame. That was number 4. 5, existing south face railing. We don't want to change the railing, and but it needs to meet the requirements of a guardrail. And so what we were planning or proposing was to put a guardrail behind it with the cable. But again, the DRB recommended that we use the same metal mesh that's on the adjacent building and apply that to the back side of the railing, the existing railing, to provide the safety for a guardrail. Number 6, the northwest access point was boarded up for many years. This probably should be reinstalled. A door in this existing opening. It was a door before, but it had plywood over it, and that's what people saw for many years. And now it's going to be reopened for the steel, the same, steel doorway with glass. So we're going to add a new staircase and steps down so we can get down to the floor elevations to get safe access out off of Toole Avenue. The new metal railings, we're going to match the existing steel that's in the steel encasement windows, and then we were planning on cables, but we actually are support the recommendation by the Rio Nuevo board. So I'll go to the next page, which basically is the same thing. It's just the narrative. Basically, the project is the staircase on the west side and the ramp on the south side, and replacing the windows in the basement on the west side, and then also along the south side. This is what the building looks like at this time. You're right, they built this temporary ramp that didn't meet any code requirements, and it was removed. This is the location where the ramp goes, and it has to be, at least 40 feet long because of the height, I think 36 feet long, for the 1 to 12 slope to meet code. We found out that they don't have any lighting in the front, so we were asked to put some lighting underneath the awning, and we could have put it behind this metal piece so it's not even visible. But it does meet the foot candle requirements for the building code because of the street lighting and the proximity, but it doesn't meet our DRB requirement for the building to have lighting on that walkway, which we would want to provide anyway. So the biggest change that we have is here on 17 East Toole, which is the adjacent building. They have this wire mesh, and in our drawing, we were proposing to go with a cable, more of a cable look. And they said that would not be appropriate. They would prefer the metal mesh instead of the cable. So that was the two changes that impact you are, one, the material for the railing in the front, and also we would use that same material up on top where the existing railing is here. Instead of building a new railing behind it, we would just do the wire on the face. That's basically what I wanted to present, and I'll take any questions at this time.
Vince, did you talk about the side of the building, the work
Yes.
there?
And
Okay, on the side of the building, we had an existing, sorry about that. We had an existing it's there now, a platform and a metal railing. You can see the picture of it. It wasn't, I don't think it was approved when it was put in, and it doesn't meet code. It doesn't have the rise and runs are not all equal. So we're basically keeping this, cleaning it up, and then putting that metal mesh because it's above 30 inches and it has to act also as a guardrail. So this is what's existing, and basically we're adding that metal mesh around it, and then coming down. And because we have another 2 steps, we're actually adding 2 more steps to get down to the grade that we need to exit people from. We also do have a span wire from TEP that we're working on relocating that's in the middle of the walkway.
Okay, Vince, please show again where you propose to put this ramp in. Have you thought about any alternate solutions to having it on the front of the building because it's really so inappropriate?
Okay, so this is a big issue too, because when we started the project, the property line of the building is at the edge of the loading zone here. So this actually is all city property, and the owner right now is in the process of buying that property to get the ramp built. So we had looked at different alternates. As you can see, it's a pretty long ramp because the height of the landing is at 2'9". So it's 1 per foot so it is a pretty long distance, and that's why, and we really didn't have any other alternatives for providing this ramp location.
questions?
You can't put it on the side where you're putting the other exit on the west?
We could put it on the side, but then that would mean that anybody that's disabled or the elderly would be walking all the way to the side of the building to enter for venue. And I mean, we would prefer not to, because it's not, you know, it's if you have wheelchairs, like they're going through a side entrance, and if it's a wedding or, you know, a party, you know, we would like the people that are disabled to be able to feel like they can come through the front entrance and greet people and do what you normally do.
Right, but I've seen that in many historic buildings where, you know, it's a problem to block and, you know, disrupt the front facade of the building. And my concern is, Jody, I mean, this is really excessive. Would it delist the building because of all the changes to the front?
To be
Well,
honest, I don't think it would. To be honest, I don't think it would delist the building. They're doing a metal ramp. Essentially, all the elements are staying there. They even have some concrete stairs that are down on the end on the left that they were originally going to demolish, that now they're building a ramp over. So while the railing is being removed for that, the stairs will be maintained there. All the facade front, you know, the windows and everything, openings and such that are in the basement level will be maintained. So it's, to me, a ramp is kind of like adding air conditioning. It's not, it is what it is. It shows that it's new. And in this instance, it's highly reversible.
Is everybody coming up the ramp?
Unless you're going on the side, everybody's coming up the ramp.
Yeah, is it absolutely necessary to put that mesh on?
Well, for the up on as soon as you get past 30 inches, I need to have some type of treatment that if a kid can't fall through, or you know, that's it. So at 30 inches up, I need to. So that's why I had to put the mesh.
Okay,
And can you show a picture of that mesh again, please?
It's pretty see-through, like looking on Google Maps at what's on the campfire cycling, you can, like, it's not very obstructive.
Yes,
Is it a
here it is.
3x3 or a 4x4 mesh?
It's a 4x4 mesh.
I like that. Okay. All right,
Can you-
other commission, do you have questions?
Yeah,
Were you
that-
using both mesh and cable then in your original proposal? Like,
He changed it from the
all of it is mesh now.
all of it will be mesh, and I think it's going to be an easier treatment, and it matches the adjacent building, which would be
Right.
nice.
So you're talking both on the ramps and stairs and the decks are all the
Yes.
same? Okay.
Yes.
So, but it's just this mesh, not the other treatment.
No, just the mesh. That would be the alternate to the cable.
Thank you.
Okay, who wants to go with other questions? Jan, do you have
Oh.
questions?
Yeah.
Who's
Okay.
going?
Savannah's going.
Okay, the drawings, what's the width of the ramp? It's not shown on the drawings.
It's 5 feet wide. It's
fine.
it's 5 feet wide.
Okay, and then are you removing a riser pipe that's in the way as well?
We're gonna cap it and provide a screen around it, like a little. It's gonna be in the same location, but it's gonna be. We're gonna like put a little. It's not that big. I have pictures here of it. Let me go back. It's not that big, so we're gonna keep it where it is. And you still have enough room with the 5 feet, because you can reduce the ramp just for that piece. Here I'll
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest jogging the handrail around it so that people don't trip on it.
yeah. Do you see that? Did I share that with you?
No, you have to unshare and share again.
Okay, stop sharing. Okay. And then okay, so that's what it looks like.
No, you're not sharing.
Oh, okay. There it is. Sorry.
Okay.
And if I need to cut it back a little closer, I can. So it's a little tighter. So, but you remember, they have a railing on that side. So it's not going to protrude much past the railing on the other side, which will take 3 inches.
Alright, so you are adding guardrail to this side, even though it's not needed?
Not guardrail, hand railing.
Handrail, okay, so that's what I was suggesting is jogging the handrail around so that, or some way of identifying that, it just seems like a
Yeah,
neat.
yeah. And what's nice, it's very close to the edge, and I have 5 feet. So we will definitely take that into consideration.
The drawings for the ramp are just of the south elevation, and then it says repeated on the other side of the ramp, but it should be clarified, it's just the handrail, not the guardrail system that's repeated.
Okay,
Your extension too is shown on the top rail of the guard and not the handrail, so I would suggest that gets corrected.
so I mean, let me see what you're saying. What one down here?
I can't see your drawing.
You're not
Okay,
showing on
here.
the screen.
Yep, I had to change, sorry. Do you see it now? What was your
Yeah,
question?
so if you go to page 9.1.
Okay. Okay,
Detail 1. At the end of the ramp,
okay.
you're showing the top rail is extended, not the handrail.
Oh, you're
And
right, should be the other way around. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. You're correct.
And I mean, that's just a minor architectural thing, but it just.
Yeah, no, I have actually the ramp, we've already done the construction drawing the ramps in Sunright. This was done early in the process. And that needs to be corrected, but you're absolutely correct. Thank you.
But I guess the thing that it also says duplicate this design on the opposite side, but in fact, it's just, you're adding.
It's just gonna be a railing, yes.
It'll just be the hand railing. And then you're adding the mesh to the existing guard railing up on the deck,
Yes.
correct? Okay. And then for the stair, I was curious about that too, because it looks like.
It should
It's
just be a
important.
handrail on that side of the, on the building side, it's just a handrail. And the
Right,
same with the lower.
okay, because your elevation shows the guardrail extended.
Actually, the lower will, let me see here. The lower, I don't even need it. It's just a handrail.
You do need
do
a
show.
guardrail and a handrail of the stairs.
Yeah,
You're
but when
just
you get
showing a
down,
handrail.
right, you're only a foot, it's only it depends on what we're grading it out. It's only about a foot higher. It's 2 steps down at the bottom.
Okay, so by the time you're at the second run of stairs, you should have both guard and handrail, and that'll transition somehow.
To a railing. Now we could, it'll look nice just to keep the mesh at that lower rail too, on the outside.
Do you see what I'm saying though, Vince, is that second run of stairs should have a 32, sorry, a second run, not the first run. Yeah.
Down here, right here,
No,
this one.
yeah, that should have a handrail too.
Oh, on the thing, okay, below here on the drawing. It's like
And I
this
guess-
already,
I
so you can
think
see
we-
the handrails that are here. And then we're adding a mesh on the backs, on that side of it, on the existing condition.
So are those handrails or guardrails? Remember, handrails are at 36 inches, guardrails are at 42.
Right,
So,
these are at 36.
okay, so you have to add guard up higher, so I think I feel like we need to see a detail of that.
Yeah.
Okay,
If it's only at 36, your drawings say 42, you need to add a guard, right? Like, I think.
right
that
from here, you're right, from here down, I need to add a handrail here. And I need to add a handrail here, but, okay,
I mean, just to go back to the big idea, despite the discrepancies of the drawings, I think that the recommendation by DRB is fine with me. I like the 4x4 wire mesh or welded wire fabric, whichever is proposed, to match the adjacent and rusted steel finish and all that. That's fine, but I think we need to see drawings that are accurate and then portray that mesh and the guardrail detailing. And then the only other question I had was, how are you upgrading the windows to be fire rated? I didn't see any details of that in here. Do they change in appearance at all?
No, they don't change their appearance, actually. Well, it's gonna be, I mean, if you look at the appearance, what they look like now, right now, there's a great, this is what, hold on one second, let me share the screen and then, do you see what it looks like
Windows,
there?
it currently doesn't say, like
Okay,
how many
so
windows total are you replacing?
Yeah, the first.
these are the windows we're replacing down here. See them?
Yeah, so what will it look like, what you're replacing them
We're
with?
gonna clean it all up and actually have a wired glass, 3/4 hour rating, steel frame window.
How will the frame look different than this frame?
It's gonna look like the building. It's gonna be,
Yeah, I think we need details or elevations of every window you're replacing, because on your site plan, you're showing replace
we're gonna go with the
Basement
steel
level
frame. What's that?
on the west wall.
Right, and then you just put lights on some.
Do you have pictures of the west wall windows?
Yes, hold on one second.
I think they're the ones that are adjacent to the new stair,
There's
Yeah.
6 of them?
That's what.
so there must be 6.
There's 6 total. And then, let me,
6 on the west, right, and 3 on the south?
it's 3 and 3
Oh,
here. Let me go to this one.
first sheet.
You can, here they are on the west side. Can you see the picture?
No,
That looks like the south.
we see the south windows.
Those are the, let me put it back. I'm sharing different screens, so hold on one second. Okay, so those are the windows that are on the walkway over here. See them, 1, 2, and then one's around the corner. Does that help?
It helps, but we'll need to see elevations, right, of what you're proposing of those windows.
I mean, we're basically just replacing this steel frame with a window, right? And we're not changing the opening or anything. It just has to be, the only reason we're doing anything, it has to be fire rated because it's along that walkway.
Right, but we just wanna verify there's no change to what it looks like, and we just need documentation of that.
Vince, are any of these operable currently?
No, I mean,
Okay.
in years past, they were casement windows, but they've been shut for many, many years.
Yeah, they're more rectangular, right? Yeah.
And these are the ones in your list that you went over at the beginning that were you said casement windows to be replaced by the metal frame.
Yes, steel frame.
Right, but you didn't note that they were now inoperable, so that's why rather than
Okay.
replacing them with casement, okay. All right, Savannah, do you have any other questions?
No, that's it, thank you.
Okay, so who's next?
Oh, as a side note, if you guys are interested, I ran across a historic photo from the 30s of the building.
Yeah.
Did you want to see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can see that the awning up front is original, but the doors and windows have probably been messed around with, and the loading bay has been jutted out,
Mm,
so. And this is from, like I said, this is from the thirties.
so we're seeing. So that dock is the same, right?
The dock is mostly the same, but now it kind of juts out, like they added to the dock,
That little section
yeah.
at the
Okay.
corner.
When was this built again? What, was it 1923?
Yeah, that's what I
23.
have, 1923.
Thanks.
This little triangle was added.
Yeah. And I'm not clear when that was added, but. Meanwhile, I didn't find what I was looking for, but I found this.
That's pretty cool.
There it is.
It hasn't changed a whole lot.
Okay, well, let's proceed with questions because we need to move along in these cases.
Okay, I have some questions.
Go ahead.
The fire department connection there on the ramp that you mentioned capping, is that in service?
It is in service. They have sprinklers in the building, but they added more sprinklers.
Okay, has
Upstairs.
this been reviewed yet by Tucson Fire at PDSD? It is,
Yes.
okay, and they're okay with the
And they
access to that?
approved it, yes.
Okay,
Nothing else, Andrew?
no, I think that's it.
Okay, Jan or Ricky or Joel?
This is Ricky.
No,
I have a
I was
question.
worried about the railing too, but Savannah took care of that, so.
Okay, you're good. Okay, Ricky?
So you said that the owner is working on purchasing that piece of property out front where the railing's gonna go. Could you remind me again who owns that now?
City of Tucson.
The city of Tucson?
Yes, the city of Tucson owns the property in the front, yes.
Okay.
Right
So
up
is
to
he
the
trying to
loading.
buy it, or is he already in the process of
He's
buying
in the
it?
process. He has to get the survey, it takes a few months, but they already filled in all the applications and so forth.
Okay,
Is there not a right of way sidewalk?
there is a sidewalk outside of the hearing.
Oh, okay, so you can't go around.
Yeah,
Bingo.
that was my concern. Okay. That was the question that I had.
Okay, Jan, did you have anything else?
No, my questions have been answered, thank you.
Okay, so have we been discussing that we were thinking that this should be continued to return with additional information such as Savannah was mentioning? Is that
Yeah, those,
Yeah, Savannah, could you make that motion then?
Sure. Sorry, I was not prepared, I was just watching. So just to recap. We want to see documentation of existing windows.
And what would that document?
And proposed replacement.
Okay, that you'd like to see that in elevation format, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I could do some really nice existing photos. But as long as the new is in elevation, it's fine.
Right, and the photos that we saw were oblique, so they really need to be more we need to be able to see more what's going on.
like actually good photos.
And the proposed replacements, right? Okay, what else?
And then
The mesh.
refine the railing elevations and details, clarifying the attachment of proposed 4x4 mesh, steel mesh.
Want to put another cutout for the fire thing?
Oh, and then, yeah, what should I say about that? Just illustrate how it's the fire department connection will be addressed within the ramp.
Okay.
Adding the guardrails on the west.
Yeah, and then I will say railing. And correcting the guard railing heights and hand railing heights and exceptions where code required.
And then since they're coming back, do we want to see the light fixtures and placement? I mean,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else people want to add? That sounds pretty comprehensive to me, if you want to go make that in the form of a motion. Savannah?
Okay, so, all right, on the matter of SD -0124-00007 at 1 East Tool, I move to recommend, what's it called? Continuation, and for the applicant to come back with a presentation that includes documentation of existing windows and proposed replacement in elevation. Refine the railing elevations and details, clarifying the attachment of the proposed 4x4 steel mesh. And correcting the guard railing heights and hand railing heights and extensions where code required. Illustrate in those documents how the fire department connection will be addressed within the new ramp. And then provide the proposed exterior lighting.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second, it's Jan.
Okay, thank you. Is there further discussion? Okay, if not, I'll go ahead and call the roll. Terry says aye. Joel,
Yes.
Andrew,
Aye.
Ricky,
Aye.
Savannah,
Aye.
and who am I missing?
Jan, I.
Sorry.
That works.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, that passes 6-0. And then, do you have any questions about this applicant?
I have a question.
Mhm.
On the railing, that's the existing railing along the front of the loading dock. We're proposing just putting wire mesh, attaching it to the back side of that. Are you gonna be, I mean, right now we would just tack weld the mesh. Do you want that, do you think you want to cover over that tack weld on the back side?
Well, we already made a motion, so.
Oh, no, I was just just asking for
Yeah,
clarification. That was
or
it.
process and stuff. So, I mean, should we say anything about that, Savannah? What's your intention?
I mean, when I've used it, I put it in what's like a little U channel to capture the ends. And then that it becomes like a panel, and then I would imagine the panel could get attached to the back, but I guess I'm open to what the applicant proposes based on their study.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Maria or Jody, anything else on this one?
No,
Thank you. Item 3B, did the applicant show up?
the applicant informed me that they need to reschedule.
Okay, so no 3B. Didn't show.
Yeah, eye surgery.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
He can't make it, so he wants to reschedule, that's what he said.
All right, so on item 3C, Commissioner Ireland needs to recuse. Joel, I'll have you leaving at 1:44 p.m.
Yes, I'm gonna turn off my computer or I'm leaving
Okay,
them.
thank you. And then Jody will call you when we're
Yes,
done.
got my phone right here.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
All right, so we'll move on to item 3C, and this is TP-PRE-224-00033 at 548 First Street This is to relocate a house from 1040 North Euclid. It's a courtesy review in the West University Historic Preservation Zone. It's a contributing resource, and we're using the rehabilitation standards. And who's here to present on this case so I can get the names? And then Jody, I will ask you for some background.
Hi there. Noel Grimsman, the senior urban planner at Snell and Wilmer, 1 East Washington Street, downtown Phoenix, for your records.
Okay, well,
Noel, why don't you just name your team?
Sure, I brought the whole crew. So I've got Chuck Martin with Brick Engineering, Davis Maxwell's with the Capstone Group, also Parker Kinzer with Capstone, or Kemford with the Capstone side. We've got Seth Beer with Core, who's on the construction side. I also see Michael Merowitz from our office, who's one of the attorneys here, Brad Bain and Jason Jones from Ann Cromosen, the architecture firm. And I think that's everybody from what I can see.
okay, Jody and Michael, do you have all these names and affiliations?
Yes, because we work with them a lot.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I know how to get a hold of Noel.
Yeah. Just let me know if we miss any, Jody. We'll make sure you got them.
Okay. So Jody has the background on this, and it's a courtesy review, so we won't be making a motion, only hearing the presentation and talking about it.
Correct.
So did you want to add anything, Jody?
Yeah,
Well-
you'll recall this went to mayor and council for the demolition relocation. That was part of the discretionary process. So they get the approval to be actually able to do it. So now they're entering the permitting phase, which is where all the details come into play about what's gonna be repaired, the height of the stem wall, how they're gonna move, all that other interesting stuff is what they're looking for. They did do a courtesy review with West University last week. And West University gave information on just the details that they want included in the plans for when it comes back for a formal review. West University did both sites, this one and 929 North Jacobus, we'll go with Jacobus. And we've split it up, so because I thought I was having a fuller agenda, but apparently I'm not, so we are only doing 548 on this one. And there is an existing house there that will be demolished. And so they've already gone through that process to demolish the existing non-contributing house there. And Noel, I made you co-host so you can share your screen.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's time today. And I think to your point, Jody, I think we've got the one house that I think a lot of the comments on the plans will be similar once we review them. So I think this will be useful regardless. So we appreciate your time today. So just a quick kind of, I think my screen's working here. Just a quick bit of background that Jody mentioned. We're located, this is part of the bigger Capstone project, was recently approved by Mayor and Council for the southeast corner Speedway in Euclid, which has a number of contributing homes on it. At the end of the day, we have initially we had identified 5 that were movable. And one was in an adobe structure was not, and so that approval for that one to be demolished is in place. This is sort of the back half. So we have all the approvals to move the homes. So now we're talking about kind of the details in the rehab and the placement. And in addition to our earlier, this is back from 2018, we actually added the other 2 homes to the south that will remain on site. We'll be back with some rehab plans on those as well a little later in the process. But for today, our focus is on 1040/1042 North Euclid, which is the 1 duplex. And that duplex will be heading down the road from the site to site 2 on the map here, which is the First Street site. As Jody mentioned, currently has a non-contributing structure on it that will be demoed and replaced with the duplex. So the overall plan to kind of walk you through here. Yeah, again, the project scope is to demolish that existing structure that you see there in the aerial, relocate 1040, 1042, and then rehab the exterior. So with each one of these homes, as they're relocated, we're not planning on making substantive changes to them. The intent is to pick them up, bring them over, and then to restore the exteriors to good condition. So they wouldn't be any additions or anything like that going on. So for this particular structure, again, the idea is that no major changes, like for like work, rehab and salvage as much as practical materials or use in kind if necessary, and finishes. So this is the 1042 side of the structure here in this photo. Again, this is the site we already kind of discussed. One thing I did want to mention, there is a detached garage. There's a shade structure, which is the brighter object in the south side of the lot. Over behind this tree here, there's another little garage that would be retained. So the plan would be to leave that there, and this little garage, little lean-to awning would come down. And so this is the site plan for the home. So you can see the shade structure goes. That existing garage is retained. There's a little driveway element in here. And then the orientation of the home would allow for there to be each one of the duplexes would actually have a street frontage. In its current condition today, there's only one since it's not a corner lot. There's only one of the this sort of side element access is actually off the side yard. So it actually I think ends up being a superior condition for the residents in the future. And this gives you an idea again of the overall footprint. This is the current structure is there. It's being demolished. You can see the little shade structure there in the garage kind of behind it. Nothing too special there. These are just the surrounding context photographs for anyone who's interested in that. Again, the elevation, the existing structure was requested, and then the proposed structure. So this is the rough elevation there for each side here, and I'll flip you through a full-size plan. I think it's a little easier to read here in a second, but essentially it's each elevation, calling out the various work and kind of going to the north elevation. That part essentially some stucco repairs needed. The window frames need some replacement and repair. Depending on the condition. We're doing that evaluation now. As one of the comments we did here was putting together a little bit more detailed window schedule for everybody. So our design team is working on that. The pergola on the south side of this particular structure would be reconstructed. So we would essentially have to take that apart because it really can't move with the house. So they carefully disassemble that and then restore that in the new location and recycle all of the timber there, barring any obviously heavy rot or something unusual once we get into the actual work. On the east elevation, again, just the reference regarding window glass, anything that needs replacement, repair, and work in that schedule, and then new dimensional shingles to again put to restore the life of the roof there. And then on the west elevation, we've got there's a chimney element that would be rebuilt on site, as well as the need to because it's a poured slab condition for the front porches. Those would be redone and textured and colored to match the existing. And the porch piers that are in that elevation would also need to be reconstructed because they're concrete. So those would be reconstructed to match the existing. A little hard to see in this photo, but basically this is the subject house today. Obviously the trees and things in the way, but you can start to see some of those details, the porch elements that were mentioned. You can see the patio there as well. Again, the scope of work, this just reiterates the same thing, but essentially the big everything. Most of the house is movable, like the porches and everything are integral. So the mover is able to include that in the lift, but that pergola element would be the one element that we'd have to reconstruct for this home. Let's see, we talked about windows and porch piers, window glass. Again, just some more images of the house from various directions. We have a floor plan in there. It's not particularly exciting, but we do have some of these window dimensions, etc. And this is a little bit of the details as far as, again, the pergola. You can see it's a fairly simple structure. And then you can see those porch details and other elements that are going to be restored on site. That's development zone map as an example. So that's pretty much the packet. The big thing I think is, and this is sort of our kind of larger technical plan that was cut up in that image there. But the other item was the kind of the foundation elements. One of the things we've been careful of and working with Chuck and the Rick engineering team and our design team has been one of the things that was requested of us is to maintain the elevation of the homes as far as on site. So when they're relocated in and they do the new stem wall foundation, so they have a modern foundation, the top of that stem wall would allow that house to sit on the stem wall at the same height it sits today. So it wouldn't be any sort of radical change in the height of the home compelled by the move. So they're working on that work. And then to the extent some of these have some detail, again, this one not as much, but some of the other ones, there's additional stonework and things that are on the foundation basis. Because obviously with a modern foundation system would be more, CMU, et cetera. To the extent those exist, we would be replicating those in place by recycling the material that's there and using it as a finishing material, so that it still retains that look. So that we'd be doing on the foundations of the homes as those conditions occur. And like I said, on the other side, we have a few more details to talk about. This one I think is a little bit simpler of all the moves, but I think with that, I'd be happy to take any questions or comments you have.
Great, thank you. Who would like to start with questions or comments?
I
Anyone?
can start. Yeah, I can start.
thank you.
This is Andrew. So just want to clarify the existing orientation of the house. The west side of the house would now be on the east or facing east, and then the existing south side of the house would now be facing north. Is that correct?
Let me get this right because I start to invert things. So today,
Yeah, me too.
So today, the way the house sits, what is on the Euclid side would now be the Second Avenue side, and the side yard would be the First Avenue side. So, and essentially here, the house would be doing 180 degree kind of flip to orient to those two street frontages. Okay.
I think because it's a corner lot, that makes sense. I like that you're getting kind of two frontages with that. I did notice though on the existing east side, there's a lot of glazing there, and that's now going to be facing west. Or does the owner have any intention to provide some sort of shade structure or solar control to that side? Since that's going to be a pretty drastic change.
Yeah, Andrew, that's actually a very good question. We haven't discussed that topic, but that's something we can talk about as a team and get you some answers on that when we come back around.
All right.
Okay, anything else, Andrew?
No, I don't think I have anything else right now.
Okay, who's next with questions or comments?
I'll go. I mean, my only additional to that is the rubble foundation that's not super prominent, but is a part of the original look and material of the structure, and you're saying that gets replaced with CMU?
Good question. So the actual physical supporting structure would be CMU. And then to the extent that situations like this exist with the various stone treatments, we would recycle that material by cutting it, making it sort of lack of a better term, an applique, so that it would still have the appearance of having the stone foundation.
It becomes a veneer, you're saying?
A veneer, yes.
Okay. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty critical element that we want to see in the elevations. Yeah. The next time.
Yep.
Okay, Anyone else?
I have a comment about the shade structure comment. So this, I mean, the bounds of this project really just pay for the house to be moved, right? Any other shade structure wouldn't be included in this. That would just be up to Joel to build down onto the house, right? Whether we're talking about the west side, the glazing that's there to put in some sort of shade. Cause I thought this project really only cared about like the house gets moved and then Joel does whatever he wants with the repair money.
I think it's just like, it's a, you know, orientation change issue that now these windows are gonna be super exposed and we gotta protect them.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be them, right? That would just be Joel. Right. Are you guys really only just concerned about getting it there?
It's a good question. So we're concerned about getting it there. We're also concerned about the exterior rehabilitation. So when we're finished here, the idea is the house will be set. All of the finishes on the exterior will be redone. Windows, restored or fixed as needed. The new roof, the painting, stucco, getting the exteriors all brought up to health. And then from that point forward, as far as internal tenant improvements, that would be in their bill.
Just trying to translate what Jack Vincent sent over on that property in Mesa. Was it?
I think Mike was off. There we go. So that would be the intent. So the intent would be is when these are all finished, when I guess the relationship with Cleve would be at the point where they get their C of O for this move and all the exterior elements that would be part of the approval that will come through this process.
And Joel will do the
Okay.
interior.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, who's next? Anyone else?
I have one question real
Go ahead.
quick. I assume you all are going to be removing the swamp cooler on the north elevation there. Is there any sort of original window left there? Or are you going to recreate something to match?
That's actually a good question. And so one of the things we're looking at is where they've done anything like this that might be a significant change to the prior elevation. So for that window there, we have to take a look to see what's, did they remove it? Did they just take the glass out? What did they do? And then to the extent of whatever they did, how are we going to put that back in a more contextually appropriate condition. So depending on what it's hard to tell from this photo, but if that window frame, for example, was just, they took the glass out and the window frame was good, you just replace the panel. If they messed it up pretty good, then we have to see what type of equivalent window could go in there to replace that.
Okay, thank you.
And it's my assumption that, after this gets moved and because this is only a courtesy review, we will be seeing this again.
Okay.
Correct, Jody?
You will be seeing it again for a full review. And then they will have more details. I've also requested a number of details for them to include in the plans for the full review. And then if you recommend approval for that, West University recommends approval, then you would be done with it. The only time you would see it again is if Joel decided that he needed to make another exterior change, because the work that Joel will be doing will be on the interior, and that's not something that we regulate.
Right, so the next time, when it comes back for full review, it will be for the moving and the rehabilitation, just like this was?
Correct.
Okay, and can you share with us your concerns?
My concerns?
Yeah.
Oh, Jan wants to go.
Okay, go ahead, Jan. I asked several times if people wanted to
Oh,
speak.
I said it, but I guess you didn't hear me. And mine are really minor. One was about, you mentioned maintaining the elevation, and I just wanted to clarify that you were talking about, you just were making sure it wasn't like perched on the new foundation, that it would be at a respectable grade comparable to how it is now. Is that what you meant?
Correct. As you can see in the photos here, these houses are sitting at a specific elevation. So when they get moved to the new foundations, they'll be at the same elevation. Yeah, maybe a few inches off, but it'd be very consistent with what they're in today.
Good. And one thing that's probably is kind of outside of our purview, but I wanted to check, especially because it looked like there might have been a saguaro or something in the front yard. Are you maintaining as much of the existing landscaping as possible, or is that even possible? Or?
No, it's a great question. So, the current kind of vegetation that's here, so part of the landscape plan would be to salvage what can be salvaged and to put back what we can. I believe that saguaro's on our list of things to salvage. But Chuck, if you could confirm that since you did the plan.
Yeah, this is Chuck Martin, Rick Engineering. We do have a landscape plan and PPO for the site. So if we can move that one and then bring it back, we will. So.
And my last one is just a comment, which is admittedly kind of gratuitous, but I'm kind of disappointed that Capstone is destroying what appears to be a relatively habitable house by Tucson standards, and that the city is okay with that versus relocating it to an available vacant lot. It's disappointing. I didn't realize that the house that was being demolished was relatively habitable. Yeah. So it's a sad commentary. I'm glad this duplex is being preserved, but I'm really disappointed that this is how it had to happen.
It's a mix of dwelling units.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Jody, did you share your comments?
Oh, yeah, no worries. So I asked for a number of details. One, a number of the houses have multiple chimneys. So I want them to be reconstructed and they should show up on the plans. Even if they're a false chimney, a lot of times they were like for the kitchen or something like that, they still represent the history of what was there. I asked for details on replacement materials, specifically the tufa stone and the cobble. If you're chipping them off, you don't know what you're gonna get, it could just all crumble. So I wanted information on like where they're gonna get that from and how they're gonna match that. I wanted them to detail out the color of their concrete and any scoring patterns, but I understand actually none of those really have any decorative scoring patterns on the porch. So I'm still looking for them to detail their color of their concrete and the finish of the concrete. I asked for a window and door schedule, and I asked for them to be specific on their window and door schedule. They hope to be able to repair most of the windows, but I'm gonna guess the one that the swamp cooler is in is shot, and that's not gonna be able to be repaired. Abatron only goes so far for repair. So the detailed window and door schedule. What else did I ask for? I asked for like the roof shingle color that they're proposing to do and the type of shingles that they're gonna be putting on there. I think, Joel, we just talked about this morning. What did I else ask for, Joel? I think that's it.
I think that captures most of it. I think we did the concrete, windows, doors, roofing material, the chimneys. We're going to detail those foundations better because that question came up here as well, just kind of regarding how that's going to work. So we'll have some call outs for that. And then making sure that again the intent is something where the contractor, it's clear to him what needs to occur, because this is a little unusual in the fact that we have the house, we're not really doing anything to it other than trying to get it from A to B, but as part of that, bringing it kind of back since everyone's seen the condition and we want to fix that. So.
And the last one I remember is the detail that they currently have for their courtesy review for the stem wall, just so it shows CMU, which is part of the confusion, is for them to show the finish. Like,
yeah, so that's
what is it? Some of it's stucco that goes all the way down, some of it's the tufa stone, some of it's whatever, so they need to show that detail on their foundation.
So we'll do that for each one, so it's understandable which, what treatment's gonna happen, so that again gets you back to looking like it looks today. But you can see, to your point, Jody, some of them they're a little different on each side, which is a little atypical. We've noticed that with several of the homes that, for whatever reason, either it wasn't originally done that way or they later stuccoed it for whatever reason. So just working through that.
West elevation is just a big tree. Yeah.
Okay, well,
I do have to say, I think when this does get moved, it'll have better visibility, especially for this one
Yes.
particular
I
house.
can still see it, the elevation.
thank you. So, folks, are there any more comments for this courtesy review or last call?
Well, again, appreciate everyone's time. And if there's any additional questions, feel free to have Jody reach out to us and we'll get that information to you and we'll see you in a few weeks.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, item 4, the informational item, 4A, presentation on the previous rehabilitation of the Fox Theater will be rescheduled.
Oh, I have to call Joel, don't I?
Oh, yeah, well, Joel. And I'll mention that again.
Just go, Jared. I'll get the door.
Then he's like, I don't know this number. Sorry. I'm not 520.
I don't have any. Can you text me? What's that?
Hey Joel, it's Jody. I'm just letting you know that that item is done. So if you want to return to the PRS meeting, you're welcome to do so. Thanks, bye.
Did not.
Joel didn't answer.
Oh, he didn't answer? Okay, so then we'll just go ahead. Do you want to text him at that number?
Well, wait a minute, we don't have Jan or Ricky. They did a bio break.
Okay, well, but okay, so then what time did we have the bio break? Do you have that?
2:11?
Bio break at 2:11. Okay.
I left a voicemail for Joel.
Okay, sometimes he'll see the text.
I expect that he didn't answer because he was like, that's not a 520 number. I don't know who that is.
Did you try texting him?
Text.
Yeah, I don't have my phone handy, so just text him because he'll just say it's Jody and someone else. I'm always texting. My phone right now. I don't know where to.
You're looking for Noel?
No. Joel.
Ireland, Commissioner Ireland.
Yeah.
Is that Joel's house?
No. Okay, I have called and I have texted, so.
Okay, do we have our group back?
Jan and Ricky are back, yes.
Okay, so the bio break is over at 2:14. That's okay. Joel didn't return yet. Okay, so we'll go ahead. As I mentioned, item 4 is a no-go for this meeting. Item 5 is task force on inclusivity report recommendations. 5A, discussion on best practices for naming of city and county owned physical assets. No report. Item 6 is current issues for information discussion. 6A is minor reviews. Would you like to tell us about that, Michael?
Yes, Madam Chair.
What are you doing? No, mute yourself. No, that one.
Which person?
Where are you?
Oh, is that?
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're all on.
Sorry. Yes, Madam Chair, last week we did 3 minor reviews, which were all signs. And I think all of them were done by, all of them were done by Ricky. One was 2 in West University and 1 in downtown. Which one do you want to start?
I can start with the one that I did yesterday. That was yesterday, right? Tuesday, I'm sorry.
2 days ago.
Yeah, Empire Tattoo is putting up a sign on 4th. The front of that building, it has a angled roof, and so he's putting the sign right in the center of it. And it's a concrete block, but there's, I guess, a wooden beam there where he's putting the sign in. He's gonna come back for another minor review because he wants to put lights on it, but he wants his sign to be approved before the 4th Ave parade. So he'll be back for lighting at some point. I have to remember what, the other one was La Estrella Bakery. They're getting their new address on stone. And that's gonna be a metal sign that's hanging from, there's like a metal outcrop off the building, and they're hanging a sign off of that. The other one was a sign that
548 Speedway.
that was the one that we had 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but they had to come.
Yeah, they had to come back because the back of the sign was like 9 feet long. And the letters were like a regular appropriate size, so they modified the size of the letters and the size of the sign, so now it's like a 5 square foot sign, which is better. And that one is off of Speedway.
Yeah. Those were the 3 that we did last week. I have one last one, which I'll be asking for a volunteer probably for Monday. If anybody's available to help with that one.
Can.
Okay, thank you. That's it for minor review, Madam Chair.
Okay, so you asked for volunteers for next one. Okay, so 6B is appeals.
We do not have any pending appeal at this point in time.
6C is zoning violations.
We continue to work as the cases come on. We just reviewed 1 today. We have 2 more that we're working with the applicant in Hamilton Park, and that will be brought to you when everything is ready.
Okay, item 6D is review process issues. I just wanted to welcome Andrew to his first official meeting, right? And thank you for just diving right in. And I'm sure everyone else who's there has said hi to him before, could say hi to him because he's on the screen. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I don't know how many of the issues that we had with the DRB case have to do with it being out of sequence, or you know, I'm not really sure. That project just didn't seem very well prepared to me. So who else has a review process issue?
Just so you know, we are doing our training. I mentioned it before, we did our training for the historic advisory boards. We had one last night, and Ricky attended and Joel attended. Had representatives from Barrio Historico, El Presidio, and Armory Park there. We will be doing a repeat of performance on Saturday at 10. So if there's anybody who wants to attend, please feel free. And hopefully we'll capture everybody else that wasn't able to attend last night. So you know, Ricky, did you have any comments on the training?
No, it was good.
I was looking for great.
It was great. There was no better way I could have spent my evening. I think it covered a lot of the same topics that we've been having questions with as PRS, like in terms of like when to recuse yourself and what to include in a motion, like to make sure that everything is included in the motion. And some of the issues about hybrid were also brought up, which is interesting. I think they're all hybrid though, right? Everybody else is hybrid too?
No, El Presidio is all virtual. West University is all virtual. Barrio Historico is all virtual. Really, it's you guys, Fort Lowell, and Armory Park's trying to do hybrid, but they got a slow start. So,
It was nice to see the people who were like making the motions that also we eventually
read about.
Yeah.
yeah, that's why we wanted to do it in person, so people could kind of glean information from each other, how everybody else does their meetings and stuff like that, so it was good meeting.
Excuse me. Okay, let's see. Any other review process things? No? Okay, item 7 is
Oh.
summary of it. Go ahead.
Sorry, Michael will be out for March.
Excuse me.
All of March.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
No, not nice.
We'll miss you, Michael.
Are minor reviews just on hold
that's
while
what
you're
last
gone?
No, I'll be
last review.
Okay.
I will struggle through them,
So
so,
I'll be seeing you more, probably,
and Zoom.
on Zoom, yeah.
I thought that, are minors sometimes in person though, you go to the site?
Yeah.
You both.
Yes, but I'll be doing both jobs, so it'll be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push for Zoom.
Yeah. Most of the applicants are like online anyway. I think if I was like, oh, we thought like I would like you to show up in person, maybe you would, but.
Okay,
I just wanted to let you know that he'll be out for March.
okay, thank you. That's good to know. I'll note that here. Item 7, have a safe trip, Michael. So summary of public comments, item 7, was anything received by the deadline?
We did not receive any public comments.
Okay, future, item 8, future agenda items. Could you recap that, Jody?
So we will be looking at the Fox Theater rehab on the 14th, because that didn't happen. We will be looking at, 125 East 16th Street, which was Armory Park one. And we'll be looking at 929 North Jacobus, on the 14th. And if possible, I might try to jam something else on there, sorry.
What about 3B that didn't show today?
That's the one I was thinking I might try to jam on there.
Oh boy, it'll be a long meeting if we have that. So, all right, I was gonna say something and now I forgot what it was. Oh, Jody, could you, can we follow the same procedure when you'll just send me what you come up with for the LAR and I'll look at it?
Motions, yes.
Well, no, the whole thing. That's what usually I get.
Oh, well, yes.
That's
I'll
what I
send-
used to get from Michael, and then after you've looked at it, right? So you will have looked at it, then if you could send me the recording, that's really helpful in the transcript. That's really great.
Yeah, it may be, depending on when we get that together, it may be me that's putting it together and sending it to you without Michael's review if he's not here.
Oh, absolutely. That's my meaning. So, so I will. Okay, well, anyway, great. And let's see. Are there any questions on the agenda items, commissioners? Or are you good? No?
No?
No.
None? Okay, so if not, we'll go ahead and be adjourned at 2:23. Thank you all for your time and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.